Okay, here we are. We're
Here
back.
we are. We're back.
Woo!
For Off the Record show number 3.
Ooh, it's a magic number.
It's a magic number.
Oh no.
And we left one question. Yeah, really. We left one question from tonight's show for the patrons. And you get to watch this later too, Josh. You're a patron.
I know. The disadvantage of being on the podcast, I think other people have said this before, if you're an active listener of the podcast, then you're really bumming because you don't have anything to listen to for that week. Like, I always look forward to Monday mornings so I can listen to the podcast, but I don't want to listen to myself again.
Right.
That'd be very egotistical.
Oh, come on. Tell us the
Come
truth.
on. Come on. Go watch it.
I don't want to hear myself again. But but yeah, this will be nice to relive, I guess, as a patron myself.
There you go. Perfect.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So one of the questions we were going to ask at the end of the show, and it works out great for the patrons, we have an extra question. And that is, I put a note. I even put a little extra note in there. I think you probably noticed this, but Joshua Johnson, international speaker.
International spy. I mean, speaker.
Oh, wow.
International speaker.
I like spy too. That's pretty cool.
I like that. International.
I was actually spying the whole time.
International man of mystery.
Yes, that sounds so much better.
The GCV.
The GCV.
So how did that all come about? Because you found that out later on, right? Or not later on. You found it out toward more closer to the event.
So less than a week before my trip, Daniel Flieger, who is you can imagine this guy is very connected to the business world, but he's also I think he's almost a master Toastmaster. So you guys know Toastmasters, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So if the patrons don't know what Toastmasters is, it's, basically people that go and meet every week and they're working on their public speaking, right?
Mm-hmm.
So this wasn't Toastmasters. There's an organization called 12minute.me. And basically it's like TED Talks. So if you're familiar with TED Talks, somebody would come up and speak about a subject for, 10 to 20 minutes about something that they're passionate about. Usually it's either informative or inspirational or something like that. So, but basically the format of this is that you go speak about something that you're passionate about or something that you want to inform about for 12 minutes. And then they literally cut you off if you're in the middle of it.
Right.
You get one more sentence. You get to finish your sentence. And then the audience gets to ask you questions for 12 minutes.
Okay.
About the thing you just talked about, and then they take because they're Germans or whatever. Then they take a 12-minute break in between each speaker. They have 3 speakers, and they have beer. So
perfect.
So 12-minute speaker, 12-minute questions, 12-minute break, have some beer. It was wonderful. It was great. So Daniel, he's very connected to this group. He had already given a talk himself many months ago, so you can only do it once. So he's like, Josh, I really need somebody to speak.
Right.
And he's thinking, if you know my day job, I'm sort of a motivational speaker. I speak all the time to young people, right? Yeah, it's my job. So he's thinking, this is just going to be easy for Josh, right? Well, not exactly, because I have nothing prepared. My daughter, Jesse, you can sympathize with this. My daughter's huge graduation party is the next day. So I was like, this is on Thursday. I'm flying out on Sunday. My daughter's grad party is like on Friday. So I'm like, I don't have time, to prepare. I don't even know what I'd speak about. And he's like, speak about geocaching and vlogging. But I was like, it was very nervous. So I said, no. I was like, I can't do it. I email him. He emails me back. This tells you the type of mover and shaker that Daniel is. He goes, no, Josh, I'm going to ask you again. I really need you to speak.
That's awesome.
At this thing. And I'm figuring, oh my gosh, okay, this guy is bringing me over to Germany to do the thing I love. I guess the least I could do is fine, I'll speak.
Right.
So guys, I'm really nervous about this because, I'm speaking to an all German audience in English. So the two other speakers are German speakers. The whole night's in German. I'm not even sure what's going on necessarily. Like, and then all of a sudden this American comes up speaking English. I'm thinking, oh gosh, they're going to think I'm stupid for now. Thank goodness English is like the language of the world, right?
Yeah.
So, but I was still nervous because the first two speakers did very well, but theirs were more like informational. So one guy told about this new tennis technology where he set up cameras and these cameras study your tennis play and then give you data on how to improve in tennis. This is what he talks about, right? Very good. The other guy talks about a startup app that he's creating to help businesses find freelancers, right? Very informational. But I am not that kind of speaker because I'm thinking, oh my gosh, maybe what they're looking for is for me to tell them technically like the ins and outs of how to become a vlogger, but that's not what I do. Like my thing is I tell stories. And I try to inspire people, right? So I'm thinking before I go on, I'm thinking these people are going to think I don't know what they were going to think, but it was so different. So I was really nervous. So
you speak all the time.
I know.
How can you be nervous?
I know, but you need to understand when I speak for work, like I give a talk to seventh graders, right? It's my courage talk. You know how many times I've given that talk? Hundreds. Right. This is fresh. This is new, talking about something in a public forum that I've never said. So I was a little nervous.
Right. So now is it okay for me? I mean, well, it's on YouTube. I mean,
did you watch it?
I watched it and I loved it. I thought it was great.
I haven't seen it yet, but I'm definitely going to.
Yeah, it's interesting. And so I'll put the link to that talk in the patron. I'll post it for the patrons also. So.
I wasn't just that's fine that you do that. Just so you know, like I haven't personally done that because it's not, and this is just me being me. It's not as polished as I normally am.
Right.
It's a little bit more of me off the cuff, and I was pretty nervous. So it's not. Let's just say this. From my point of view, it's not my best work from a public speaking, but what it does do, it really gives you the heart of why I'm a vlogger, which a lot of people don't necessarily get to hear.
Yeah.
And so it talks a little bit about Michael Costello. It talks about the kinds of feedback I've gotten from my vlog. And basically, here's what it's about. It's basically this fact that I accidentally became a vlogger just by accident, kind of, and how it created something so much bigger than I could ever imagine, to the point where now I'm in Germany talking to people about it. Like, and that's just amazing to me. So
yeah.
How do you think they received it?
Surprisingly, very well. Like people were walking up to me saying that they were so inspired because, you know, when I talk to young people, I would like to give them something. So it's more than me just telling a story. So I had people coming up to me saying, wow, like, because many of them were young professionals that were trying to start businesses, like 25, 26. And they're like, oh my gosh, I've been putting my focus in a maybe the wrong place, because my focus has been about making money and growing my business, where really my focus needs to be about changing people's lives. And if I change people's lives, then my business will grow. And so it really, I think I tapped into the heart of business, of successful business, that a lot of them as young entrepreneurs maybe hadn't thought of before. Because basically, you know, my motivation for vlogging at the beginning was just to capture the memories of my kids and just, you know, whatever. Right. But I realized it was not. It changed from becoming about myself to becoming about other people. And that was my sort of final challenge to them, is like, whatever you do, whether it's making a tennis app or, you know, or whatever it is in business, make sure that you do it to make other people's lives better. So I got some really heartfelt, amazing feedback that I was just really surprised about. So that was cool.
Yeah. So it was really good, Josh. And then that's, you know, like you said, no, it was good. I think people should see it. And like you said, I don't think it was different, like you said, because it's something you don't really get opportunities necessarily. You've given snippets of it, I think.
Yeah.
in some of your videos, because I've seen every video. So I think it, but for most people who just come along and watch one or two, I don't think they necessarily always get the full
the heart
of
it. Yeah. So yeah, if you're looking for something to really have a lot of context of why I still, after 7.5 years, still make these videos,
love it.
That'll give you a good sense. Those 10 minutes will give you a good sense of why I do it.
And still love it. Go ahead, Jesse. I'm sorry.
So you're reluctant to do it, but having done it, are you glad you did?
Oh, I'm totally glad I did it. You know, from the public speaking realm, you know, there's an Eleanor Roosevelt quote that says, "Do one thing every day that scares the crap out of you." Maybe that's not. And I think it had been a long time. It had been a long time that I felt that nervous about speaking in front of people, and having those kind of experiences, I think, just grows you as a person. When you know, because it's always, when you speak for a job, it almost becomes just too easy, and that was not easy. So I'm so glad I did it. I'm so glad I said, yeah.
Perfect.
I even had the crowd do the yes chant. So
that's perfect. All right.
So,
go ahead,
so we kind of touched on this, and I know we can't drag this out all night long because we could talk to you all night about this experience, right? And we wouldn't want to take anything away from the videos, but we kind of touched on it in the show. But do you think, outside of WV Tim, do you think other people could start with inspiration from these videos and kind of what we're talking about, building these kind of relationships here in the U.S.?
Oh yeah, I totally think it could happen. It just needs to be the right person, the right place, and the right vision. But I think it can happen because I've seen it happen. And I don't think there's anything particularly from a cultural standpoint that's unique. I mean, that it couldn't. So I think it could happen, but it would take somebody with a lot of vision and just really good at building relationships with people. But I think it could happen.
Now the lab cache they had there, how did you feel about a lab cache that was not associated with a mega? Do you think that's something they could catch on, like businesses and geotours? And second part of that, while you're thinking about that one, as we talk about geotours, and we mention it every once in a while in here, do you think it'd be added value for a webcam to be added to a geotour? Like a city's coming in and they're really trying to bring in something special.
Yeah.
We've talked about it a couple times, but if you get to add in a lab cache and a webcam, you're paying $10,000 for the first year for a geotour. Seems like that may be a little added bonus geocaching could throw in there, but I don't know if there's other reasons they wouldn't do that. But it seems, I mean, look how excited you got about a lab cache. Right. You've done just about everything in geocaching, right? You've done tons of stuff.
Yeah. I think, I mean, I think the danger of having a lab cache like that in a business is that, and I know geocaching.com is probably thinking this, it's like, where do you draw the line, right? Right. Every business is going to want one, blah, blah, blah. So, but I think in the context of, from a business standpoint, having a package where you say, okay, you're paying this much a year to have your official geotour, and that means you get this as a part of the package. You get this many lab caches, you get a webcam, you get special things that will draw people to your location and to your geotour that you pay for. That makes complete sense to me, and the fact that lab cache was special is what made it valuable. If they were everywhere, right, we wouldn't care as much.
Right. It's like webcams. If they were everywhere, who would care?
Right. So, but I mean, from a business standpoint, off the record,
there you go. Yeah.
I think it would be very smart. It would be very smart. To do something like that, or even show them how you can include an AR cache, for example. And help people point to people like Geheimpunk that I don't know how to do this, but here's a resource where you could purchase a cache from this place and you can install it in your city. So
that'd be neat if every geotour had one of these different things, right? Like each of the different types, maybe that was a standard that they had a gadget cache in each geotour. Because I've done geotours that are just regular caches.
Right.
It's just still cool. But,
but I think for it to be worth the tourism agency or whoever's paying the money to geocaching.com to add more incentives to it, because I believe it's a yearly fee off the record.
Yeah, off the record. Boy,
I can tell you it is. I know what it is.
Yeah, it's a yearly fee. To continue to renew that, maybe you add something every year. You know, every time you renew. You know, I don't.
You did
From a business standpoint, that makes a lot of sense.
Right.
You did Homa.
Yes.
And they now have 2 tours.
Yes.
I wonder if they get maybe a discount of some type because they got 2. I don't know what they're.
Yeah. I don't know. I don't know if they're listed as 2 separate ones on the website, or if they're just listed as one. I think they might be listed as one, but they're separated by cache name. So, but I think, I don't know. Who knows?
Yeah.
But I know those Geo Tours get hit like crazy, though. I have a cache that's on a Geo Tour.
Yeah.
And it's like right down the street, and it's the same cache as one down the street, and it gets hammered as opposed to the other one.
Sure, because people want their coin. They want their
coin, and now they want their souvenir. You know,
right?
Yeah,
and
exactly.
And again, geocachers love checking boxes. So to say, "Oh my gosh," I mean, if you're a retired couple, to go around the country and make it your goal to hit as many geotours as possible, geocachers love that stuff. So. So it makes it special, and those caches should be special.
Well, I look forward to watching your videos, and it just reminds me. And you hit on it early in the show, but it's just that quality.
Yes,
we get focused a lot of times on numbers, and that's not a dig at this promotion, because I actually like the promotions they're doing right now.
Right.
But because they're trying different stuff, but
right.
I'd love to see more and more focus on quality caches there, because we all get sucked into the numbers, right? Checking a box, but I really love when hearing stories of these quality caches like this.
Yeah, I think that is the key, and I think geocaching.com knows it off the record. That is the key. It's a drinking game. Can every time we say off the record? Yeah.
Yeah,
there is a drinking game for the regular show. So.
I know, right?
This is the Patron drinking game.
Oh yeah.
I think they know that is what is going to continue to keep this hobby alive, is when people have an amazing experience with a cache.
Yeah.
Because they're going to be able to tell their friend, "Oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe I went to this full-size TARDIS that was a Simon game that when you got inside of it, it was like I was really in Doctor Who."
Yeah.
That's the kind of stories people will tell.
But that's switching the thought from bragging about I have 10,000 finds to bragging about I have 2 awesome caches in town that everybody wants to go do.
Right.
Yeah. I mean, really, it is, right? It's hard to.
Yeah. And that's different.
That's a good example. You know, we've talked about it on the show, and you heard us talking about it with the whole that whole British red box that we weren't even planning to go to. I don't know. Jesse, how did you just heard people talking about it, or somebody
came up to us and
said, "Hey,
what I want people to say about your caches." Yeah.
Yeah.
If you're in town, you've got to go do this one.
Yeah.
Right.
And so we're like, "Oh, well, give us the GC on it." And they just kept going. They go, "You got to go. Seriously, you got to go. Okay, give us the GC. We'll go." And it was incredible.
Yeah. Yeah. And I think there's always place for the numbers, right, Zach? But the numbers
do it, though.
Yeah, but the people that are doing it a lot for the numbers, they're diehards, and they're gonna geocache to their grave. Like that's not the people geocaching.com is necessarily worried about, because they know those people will. I shouldn't say they don't. It's not that they don't care, but to keep the hobby alive is to be able to introduce somebody to a great geocache. So when I went to the zoo in Hanover, we had a muggle with us. I took her to her very first geocache, which is this incredible gadget cache outside the zoo. Basically, you open up this box and there's a mini zoo in it that has sound effects, and you have to with the buttons you have to identify the sounds of the animals.
Right.
Okay.
That's awesome.
And so I'm showing her this cache. She's completely figuring it out, like as a muggle. She's like, it's obvious enough, it's accessible enough that a muggle could figure out how to open it, right? Sure. And after the whole experience is over, I look her in the eyes and say, "You need to know something. not every geocache is like this.
So true.
You know, but
But
what a great introduction to it.
yeah.
Oh
maybe
gosh, yeah.
Converted. Did she?
Yeah.
Do you think she'll do more geocaches? You think?
I think so. She was totally, and she did the rest of the ones in the zoo with us too.
Oh, okay, cool.
Also amazing. So she was with us the whole day, because actually I met her at the talk, because I talked about
okay.
and she heard about sort of geocaching, my vlogging through the talk, and afterwards she was like, "Hey, I would love to go geocaching." And then of course Daniel was like, "We're going to the zoo tomorrow."
Right.
So she
Come
came
with
along.
us.
Yeah, so she came along with us. So she heard about it through my talk. I think she knew about it, but she had never tried it. So
Right.
Well, I have an opportunity, and Joshua, you'll definitely appreciate this, and Gary will too. But I was just approached this week by a teacher in this local school district that wants to start a geocaching club.
Cool.
Oh, kind of like Dr.
At her
Polly?
school. Yeah, like him, but he left. He moved out of the district, so I didn't get to do much with him.
Yeah.
But this will be that chance to really plug into one group that's going to be able to put out high quality caches in the area. So hopefully we can introduce them with that kind of thing, and go, this is what they should look like. This is what they can look like.
Right.
What do you want to be a part of? So we'll see, but it's working with kids. So I'm always going to jump at the opportunity to get to do that. So,
oh, that is so awesome. And I just get so excited when I see, and I know you guys do probably too, is when young people experience geocaching, especially with their grandparents or their parents. Like, that's what it's all about. Gosh, that most dads that got into geocaching, like, one of their motivations was like, oh my gosh, this is something I can do with my kids.
Absolutely.
And that's going to continue to be, I think that's continued to be a pull towards the hobby. Is hey, this is something I can do with my family. So
no doubt. Cool.
Okay. Well, good.
Awesome.
That was a great off the record, Joshua. Thank you so much.
Yeah, it was like 40 minutes. That's solid.
I know, it was like a full show for the patrons.
So if we get another 100 on this,
that's it.
That's
it.
Another steak.
No.
Okay.
No.
Sorry, I just tried to push it. No, 9.
Maybe ice cream. 9.
9.
Maybe.
That's actually a pretty good bet for you to make, Gary, since only the patrons can get it, and we know exactly how many patrons we have.
We're a little over 60, but hey, that's growing like crazy.
Right then. You had your chance.
That's growing like crazy, so you never know.
That's true.
May eventually get over 100, and you get over 100 on this one, and we'll throw in like ice cream or something.
Okay.
Yeah, no doubt.
I'll take a rain check for Geo Woodstock. I don't know the next time I'm coming down there. I'm excited. Jesse, I know we're still recording.
Yeah,
we're on the record.
We're on the record.
But you're coming up to South Dakota. Are you coming up to Sioux Falls, or what's the deal?
So middle of July, going up to, we're gonna basically ring the state.
Okay.
We've solved about 1,000 puzzles in that area.
Gosh, yes.
And we plan on, there's 3 of us right now, plus anybody else that joins from that area, and we're gonna go the whole northern border, and then the whole the eastern border.
Yes.
We'll hit North Dakota, and we'll hit I guess what's right next to that, Michigan.
Yeah.
Minnesota.
Yeah. Minnesota. Minnesota.
Yeah, not Michigan. And then come back down. We're just gonna drive, car camp. There's 3 of us in our car. We got a kind of a practice run in case we get to go to ET.
Yes.
And see, we're shooting for 1,000 caches in like 3.5 days.
Wow. Well, you're very close to me, and as you know, for my day job, I get June and July off. So you know what? We'll talk. I might join you. I might join you for that eastern border. It's only 3 hours.
Give me a message or whatever, and we'll talk about it. We could have a lot of fun.
Yeah, it could be cool. So
that's
who knows?
Awesome. Very cool. All right. Bye, patrons. Thank you so much. We love you guys. Good night.
All right.
Good night.